Hey, welcome back to Cards and Comics. So today I've got something fun. Over here on my left is a box, which is good sign that something fun's going to happen. And today I'm going to open up this box and we're going to unbox some CGC comics that I had put in about April of this year, and I finally got back. Now, CGC is pretty slow. One of the reasons it was slow though is I had some Golden Age in this, actually one Golden Age book, and they're a little slower on those, so a mixed order sometimes takes longer to do that. So we'll get started. I'll bust the top. So a friend of mine grades these. I do not grade CGC on my own, so I send them in to a friend of mine, Indie Cards, Indianapolis area. He actually does these for me, and yeah, so it's a good service. He presses and he grades, and I know a lot of people use those services for other, from other people, and again, I've had good success, and he's a really cool guy. So Indie Cards from Indianapolis area, where I used to live, definitely takes good care of this service, and appreciate his support. So here's the first comic. So I'm just going to put them in order, and this is the one I really cared the most about. So let me pull the camera up a little bit. There we go. There you go. You see the whole thing. So this is Planet Comics number 48. This is a really cool book for a lot of reasons. The main reason to me is just that these big robot covers are just cool. I mean, this comic, zoom in a little bit, had a little bit of some issues, but the coolest thing about this comic was I won it in a giveaway. So I bought a Schomburg book, which I'm a big Schomburg collector, and this was a freebie for the guy, as part of the advertising was, first person to claim the book got this Planet Comics, which is raw. So I said I got a 4.5 with creamed off white. But again, this is a really cool cover, just a really fun book, and really glad to have it. And I'm not a big Planet Comics collector, but I do appreciate them. I think I have about 3 or 4 Planet Comics in my collection. So, it's not a big focus of mine, but I am definitely not opposed to getting more. So next up was, so this was kind of a mess. Pretty much my biggest disappointment in the whole order. And of course you grade and you're going to get disappointment. Was this book right here. Detective 880, the cool Jacques cover. It was pressed, it was sent in. I have the notes on it. I think it was just something to do with the back crease or something. I don't know. It was missed by both of us. I mean, I think this was, we had it pegged at about a 9.6. So yeah, not a fan of that grade. I mean, that's still a cool book. A lot of people love that book. I love the book. So I'll still be happy to have it, but yeah, not a fan of that grade. I mean, it's just not something that, is going to sell well on the retail market. I bought the book to keep, so I'm glad I have it, but yeah, it's definitely not the grade I was looking for. All right, so next up is a nice book, Thor 337 9.0. So, it's an okay grade. It's got white pages. I think it was a little harsh, but again, how CGC is. It's got a few spine text. So, nice book. I think when I sell it at a comic show, I think somebody will get a good deal on it. And it was part of my collection, so, I didn't really pay a lot for it. So just, again, I was hoping for that, at least a 9.2 on it. Again, CGC is pretty tough. So here's another one that I was hoping a little higher grade. I was hoping this was a 9.6, so, and I got a 9.2 on it. But it's Akira 38, which is a really tough book. If you go through these Akira books, the black, border, these are always tough. So number 38, it's a cool cover. I just like this whole series. I think this is a super undervalued series. And yeah, so a little lower than I was hoping for, but I like this whole series. It's got pinups by Mobius inside. I mean, these were all real cool. And the cool thing about this book, again, it's the last issue. So a lot of times last issues are tough, lower print runs. So the last issue, I think, a 9.2. I think it's going to keep going up in value. I'm not going to sell this one cheap. At a show, I think they're too tough to find, and condition wise, they're definitely tough to find. So gotta move this box down because it's a little unstable where I've got it. So all right, next up, here we go. Next up is Hulk number 2, Immortal Hulk number 2. So this is the variant cover, cool cover. Really tough grade because, just a lot of black on this cover. Very dark cover. So I think, this is definitely one of those tough books. It's very tough, even being pressed and graded, it's not, obviously the grade I was looking for, but, I like these variant covers, the harder to get ones, and so I'll probably keep this one just to have it. But yeah, not not the grade I was looking for. I was, hoping for a 9.6 or above, but, like I said, CGC is pretty tough. And again, these were all pre-graded, by me and the person I was, pressing and grading these in. So, we had thought they were going to grade a little higher too. Just, tough day of the office. Now this book definitely graded where I thought it would grade. These Eternal number 1s are just, tough. Again, dark cover. But I think a 9.4 is a good grade for a book in the wild right now for this kind of a book that you find. So, if you go out and find, which I did, this is a raw book I found, had a press, got a 9.4. That's about what you're going to expect. I mean, you might get some people who, had these in good shape, kept hold of them, but, from this is from 1976. I think right now, most good copies have already been probably, sent in. And so I think, if you find something at a show or find something at a dealer, or a comic book store, raw, this is the grade you're going to get. So yeah, I was very happy with that. So I think that was exactly what I was looking for. Let's see. Next up, I was super stoked on this book. This book has lost a little bit of its luster, but I think this book is super important. I don't know why this book, maybe it's just because it's from 1980 and, a lot of copies of this book exist, which is fine. But DC Comics Presents 26 is the first appearance of, Raven, Cyborg, and Starfire. And I just think those are 3 really, really popular characters in the DC universe. And for their first appearance, 9.6 is great. Again, a raw book I found in the wild. White pages. So again, it's not a super expensive book, but I think it's going to go up in value. And I think it's just super key, to have 3 really important characters, first appearances in one book. Pretty rare. And I think that book is a little undervalued. All right. Next up is probably, I guess, my biggest win in the whole grade. So it is Saga number 1 and a 9.8 white pages. So yeah. So, I love this series. I love this book. it's gone through its ups and downs. I think, some folks, um, you know, it, right now it's such a big, if it's not made into a series of 1 or 2 years now, it seems like, people have lost interest in the book or as much, as a spec play. But this is a really good series, guys. I mean, just to read, which is, saying something, because in today's market, finding books that are just amazing to read. I think, this is definitely one of them. I love the book. It's a 9.8 white pages. So yeah, this is my biggest win of all the books I sent in. So very happy with that one. Next up. So this was a good, and so you'll see 2 of these books in this order. Again, this is personal collection books. I had bought these, from various folks, and this book I've had for a long time, and I finally got it graded. 9.6 white pages, Salmon #1, ultra key book. I think this is, the first appearance of Death has really gone up in value, and I think people are really love that character, which I do too. But I just feel like the first Sandman book is still going to be ultra key and ultra popular, you know, um, with fans, in the future. And so, yeah, I think a 9.6 in this book is what it deserved. I'm very happy with it, and hopefully that leads me to the next book. Yep. So now I bought this book from a friend of mine. I just threw it in there. We both missed this book horribly. Obviously, we had pegged this at a 9.2 in our notes. Yeah, so obviously there's something. I guess some greater notes on this one. I don't know exactly what they found wrong with it, because if you look at the back, and the book looks really nice. I bought this from a friend of mine. So yeah, something obviously is really wrong with the book. I think it has something to do internally, with a page. I think maybe even creased or something like that. But, I think obviously on the outside, the book looks nice, inside, not so nice. So yeah, it's a 7.5. It's going to be a good value play. When I go to card show or comic, book shows, these kind of books sell really fast because it's going to be inexpensive. It's graded. It's a key book, and there's a lot of people looking for these key books at a really nice entry level price, and they'll buy the lower grade books just because they want that book. Last book, again, we talked about Kira, so I bought the #1. And I knew this book had some issues. I just wanted it, and I went ahead and got it graded. Yeah, we thought this was 8.5. It's an 8.0. You can see, that right along here, you can see that spine crease. Yeah, so, CGC is pretty tough right now. So this book got an 8.0. White pages. It's the first, obviously, #1. So I had the first and last in the book, or in the series. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to sell it just like it was raw, pretty much when I go to a card show or a comic book show. And I'll keep it if nobody wants to pay, what a raw book's worth. I think it's graded. It's, what it is. But it's tough to find. This whole series is harder and harder to find. I think it's definitely undervalued. So that is my order. Took about 7 months to grade everything. Obviously the big winner in this whole deal was, the Saga, but a Sandman 9.6, a Saga 9.8, Saga 1, Sandman 1, 9.8, 9.6. The Planet Comics 4.5 is obviously just a cool book. I think everyone, would agree that, this book is in a 4.5 is still really collectible and valuable, for a lot of folks. So that's my unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked, some of the books I've gotten, and you can see, grading is tough. So don't don't always expect what you're going to get. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm going to enjoy my books now that I have them back 7 months later. So hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.